Summary of the issue. In a dramatic and rapidly unfolding legal battle, a U.S. federal judge issued a temporary restraining order to block the immediate deportation of hundreds of unaccompanied Guatemalan children. The ruling came on a holiday weekend, just as some of the children were reportedly being boarded onto planes for removal. This emergency injunction, a victory for immigrant advocates, maintains the status quo for at least 2 weeks, preventing the government from carrying out its plan to repatriate minors. The legal challenge, led by organizations like the National Immigration Law Center, argues that the government's actions violate federal laws and constitutional rights designed to protect vulnerable, unaccompanied children seeking refuge and due process. The ruling highlights a stark conflict between the administration's aggressive immigration enforcement policies and long-standing legal protections for minors. Reasons and consequences. The immediate reason for the lawsuit and the judge's ruling was the government's apparent attempt to bypass established legal procedures. The Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act, TVPRA, of 2008 and other federal laws guarantee unaccompanied minors from non-contiguous countries, like Guatemala, the right to an immigration court hearing to pursue asylum or other forms of relief. This is intended to prevent children from being sent back to situations where they could face danger, abuse, or trafficking. The legal challenge asserts that the administration's expedited removal efforts stripped these children of their due process rights, placing them in imminent danger. The government, for its part, has claimed its actions are a form of family reunification, carried out at the request of the Guatemalan government. However, advocates have countered that this is a pretext to circumvent legal safeguards. The consequences of this ruling are multifaceted. For the children, it means a temporary reprieve from deportation and a chance to have their cases heard in court. For immigrant advocates and legal groups, it is a significant, albeit temporary, win that reinforces the importance of judicial oversight in immigration matters. It also sends a clear message that the government's actions, even in the name of swift enforcement, are subject to legal scrutiny. On the other hand, the ruling presents a significant hurdle for the administration's stated goal of rapidly reducing the number of migrants in government custody. It could lead to a more drawn-out legal battle, potentially forcing the government to reevaluate its strategies for handling unaccompanied minors. The situation also places Guatemala in a difficult position, as it must now respond to the needs of these returned children while working within the framework of a U.S. legal system. Analysis and prediction. This case is not an isolated incident, but rather a microcosm of a larger, ongoing legal and political battle over immigration policy. It underscores the tension between the executive branch's authority to enforce immigration laws and the judiciary's role in upholding due process and federal statutes. The judge's order, while temporary, sets an important precedent by asserting that the vulnerability of these children requires a higher standard of care and legal consideration. In the short term, the prediction is that this will lead to an intense legal fight. The temporary restraining order is for 14 days, and the administration is likely to challenge it, arguing for its authority to manage the border and migrant population. We will likely see more filings and a hearing to determine if a more permanent preliminary injunction should be granted. In the long term, regardless of the ultimate court decision, this case will likely inform future immigration policies. Solutions addressing the complexities of unaccompanied minor migration requires a multi-pronged approach that extends beyond the courtroom. Legal and due process safeguards. The most immediate solution is to ensure strict adherence to existing laws like the TVPRA. This means guaranteeing that every unaccompanied minor is provided with legal counsel and a fair hearing before an immigration judge. Congress could also act to strengthen these legal protections to make them less susceptible to executive overreach. Increased legal and social services. The government, in partnership with nonprofit organizations, must invest in more resources to support these children. This includes expanding access to legal representation, trauma-informed care, mental health services, and educational support. This would not only uphold humanitarian principles, but also make the legal process more efficient. Address root causes. A more sustainable, long-term solution involves addressing the underlying factors driving migration. This means diplomatic efforts and foreign aid focused on improving economic stability, combating gang violence, and addressing climate change in Central American countries. By working to create safer conditions in their home countries, the incentive for children to make the dangerous journey north would be reduced. Expedited family reunification. While the recent attempts at rapid repatriation were flawed, the underlying goal of reuniting children with vetted family members in the U.S. or in their home countries should be a priority. This must be done transparently, with a clear legal process, and with the child's best interests as the primary consideration. This case is a crucial reminder that immigration is not just a political issue, but a human one. And the way a nation treats its most vulnerable populations reflects its core values. The path forward requires a balance of compassionate policy, legal integrity, and a commitment to addressing the root causes of this crisis.